We are live on Yonkers Voice, and this is an important interview. We had a topic yesterday that talked about gang, street violence. We all understand the problem. We all see what's happening. But what's lacking? It's solutions. What's lacking is people that have been there, done that, and now see the things that need to be changed and step on social media or other media outlets to speak about what we need to do. How can we change? How mindsets can be tweaked in order to prevent those things. But Malik, we want those things to happen before those kids actually go to the big house. You've been there. But before we get there, look at the camera and tell people a little bit about you, a bio, about who is Malik and how was the path of Malik from back then to the Malik that is sitting with me today.
Well, there's different stages of life. My name is Malik Salahuddeen. I'm from the University of the Streets. We're a 501c with the purpose to deter inner city and underprivileged children from gang violence. I'm a Native American. I'm a native of Southside Yonkers, New York. I've been through the struggle. I grew out of that pit. I'm trying to change minds. Make dreams reality. MDR, giving them the love that they need, just listening and taking action to what the community is asking for.
Now, Malik, many people talk about issues. Many people pass judgments. Many people try to point the finger and say, you to blame, you to blame. I tell people all the time, listen, blaming or finding blame is not going to fix the problems of today. Yeah, we can talk about the things of the past in order to understand the present. But what we really need, it's solutions. What we really need is how can we change the mindset? How can those that are at the age that we were when we made the mistakes, the things that they need to do in order to prevent them from making the same mistakes that you and I did? Because no one is perfect. Mm-hmm. We just make different mistakes. But we should be able, or we should learn from other people's mistakes in order to give us a chance in life. How do you feel about that?
That's exactly who I'm trying to become and what I'm trying to make for the people. I'm consider myself a credible messenger at this point because I've been on both sides. Right now I'm the executive director. This is like one of the first times I put a suit on if I wasn't going to a funeral or court, unfortunately. So what I'm trying to do is rewire the mind state and remember when you were children, remember when you was lost, remember that these kids are hurt. So hurt people hurt people. To make a solution, you have to understand what the problem is.
Now, Malik, before we go further,
correct,
I need to give a shout out to Get Fresh. Get Fresh, 46 North Broadway. You need a good quality hoodie, sportswear. Go to this store. Support our local businesses. Lots of people talk, but I have an hashtag that I wish you guys would write on your comments, which is actions, not words. Last time I said words, not actions, but it's action, not words, okay? Be part of the change, be part of the solution. Let's talk about your experience. How or what happened years back? You know, I see on the narrative that we put up, you grew up in Lawrence Street. Lawrence Street became your family, became your support. And very often, that's how kids get involved in gangs because they don't have the father. Your father, I believe, at that time was incarcerated.
My father was incarcerated at the time.
Okay, your mom probably was working, and the support was on the street. And when you will least expect, you are in trouble. Let's talk about the Malik from back then.
Well, truthfully, my father was in jail, so I always actually wanted to know what jail was like, as sick as it might sound. I wanted to know what it was like where my dad was at. It gave me a warrior mind state that I thought it would be something intriguing or interesting. So when you don't have much from the ghetto, what you have is your power, so fear. You instill fear in people. you gain a false power. You gain a false power. So when I was 10 years old, I found out my mother had HIV, which was like devastating to me. I wasn't aware of how to treat it. I wasn't sure about harm reduction. I just thought my mother was gonna die before I was able to reach any grown man point in life. So I believe that you have your nature around you and you have your nurturing. So my nurturing from my mother's side was very good, but she wasn't enough to sustain a egotistical young man growing up to with a point to prove, with a chip on my shoulder. So what happened is I fell into the antisocial living patterns, and I fell in love with the street more than I fell in love with anything. So
Now, before we go further, let me point it out that Malik's mother, Elizabeth, was actually one of our first interviews on Yonkers Voice. She sat down with us at Guapo, and we had a lengthy interview about her condition. She passed away back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Okay, I was not able to go to the funeral service because when we received the news, I was in Europe on vacation. But that was a very sad day because all of us loved Elizabeth. We always loved your mother. She was a very kind friend, hanged out with us all the time. Your mother, your cousins, family members. And I knew about you before I actually got to meet you.
most people hear about me before they meet me.
But on a good way. Okay?
Now it's time to change the narrative.
Now, we need to change the narrative, as Malik just said. But how? What is the problem? How can we tweak? Is it a matter of second chances, or is be proactive instead of reactive?
So my new campaign is called Save the Shooter. As controversial and odd as it might sound, because any one of your kids can be a shooter. Any one of your kids can be shot. So my mission is to save them before they pick it up. Because right now their mind state at these young adolescent age, their cognitive thinking is not totally processing. So if you're growing up with hate, you're growing up with hurt in your heart, plus being polluted by the outside way, the detrimental living pattern is subliminally built into us, the codes, the ethics that we gradually grow into from the street. These people are hurt. Once again, hurt people. My belief is just give them some attention. It starts at home. You know what I mean? You could be the best parent, but that doesn't mean the streets are not going to take its toll on the growth of this person.
Now, Malik, what about those that don't have a home? But nevertheless, they deserve a chance. Okay, look, maybe the guy next to me was fortunate enough to grow up with a mom and father figure, but there is many that are not able to, for whatever reasons. Dad might be in jail, which was your case. Mom might be dead because something happened.
Yeah, what if that would happen to me when I was a child, basically?
Right. But nevertheless, you deserve a chance.
Yeah.
You deserve the same possibility of the guy who lives in Scarsdale in a mansion, or elsewhere for that matter of fact. You deserve a chance.
So
our society needs to give those that don't have those elements a chance to have a good life. How do we address that?
I don't have all the answers, but my solution to this situation is something I'm implementing. I wrote a curriculum called Boys to Businessmen. I think this would be like the best father that the hood never had. So basically it's a 12-week course where we grab them by the hand, whether they were formerly incarcerated from juvenile centers or grown men, because it varies from 12 to 30. My last target constituent was, how old was he? He was 34 years old, and he just learned how to drive. So what we do in this course is we grab them by the hand. We get them their birth certificate and all the necessity things for them to be above board, their ID, their social securities, their benefits, because they're hungry out here. Their benefit card, their food stamps, all the necessities, the first step. Second step would be finding, because a lot of people grow up with their credit already shot. Their mom put their name in their cable bill and their name, whatever the case is.
That's true.
So make a long story short, what we do is we teach them financial literacy from the bottom to the top. It's credit for it's cookies with credit was what I call it. So We give it to them at their level and let them grow from there. We also teach dapper etiquette so they can have a proper operating image to put them in the work field. So Voice to Businessman is the curriculum, is a 12-week course of financial literacy from the bottom to the top. Then later on it's a mortgage lending so they can get a mortgage. But that's just Voice to Businessman. Then we have MDR, which is Make Dreams Reality, which is more of an arts crisis center where we hone in on their hidden talents and foster them out of them. Say hip hop is very big right now, drill music, all these type of different genres and art forms. We try to get to know our target and blossom with where they want to go with it, which is MDR, Make Dreams Reality. If I can't do it, I'll find the proper resources to do it.
Now, guys, before we go further, let me ask you for a big favor. This is the type of interviews that we wish you would share. Interviews that talk about the real experiences, the real thing, the real stuff that impacts our lives in daily basis. Maybe not us directly at times, maybe somebody else who we know. This is the interview that has the potential to change things. Bring your child and say, listen, come over here. I want you to listen to these two individuals speak. Listen to Malik. Malik was in the place where you, my child, are now. I don't want you to go through what Malik did in order to change somebody's life 20 years, 10 years from now. Listen to his experiences, make his words your words, and change your life for the best now that you can. Because very often, Malik, by the time you realize, I don't want to say it's never too late, but I can say it's much more difficult to change your life after you made a series of mistakes. So, and I guess your point is, listen to your experiences. Don't make the same mistakes that I made. Today you're here to talk and to share. Definitely. But hopefully you'll be able to change somebody's life that will not make the mistakes that you made in the past.
The street life is just a vicious cycle. I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I got bullets in my face, my arm, my hands don't even close right from these demon time antics that I was living by, this antisocial living pattern, which was really just a little lost boy that was just very hurt, and I wanted to take it out on the world. So basically, there's kids out there right now going through that, that's feeling alone, that's feeling like this hopeless, because we're living in a demon time antics. That's what they call it, demon time. But when you have time for the demons, then the demons have time for you. So basically what's going on is that the hood is destroying itself and people are sitting back watching it and just judging. The solution is to put handcuffs on these kids that's getting guns. They're not making guns. There's a gun control, supposedly, but every kid got a gun.
But you know, Malik, sometimes I compare when I grew up. I know times are different. I know the society is different. I know people are different. But there is one thing that never changed. A kid is a kid.
Kid is a kid.
Okay? Regardless if he was 100 years ago or today. A 5-year-old boy is a 5-year-old boy. And one thing that I have noticed in America, and again, guys, I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm not here to name names. That's not my job. We're just here to have a conversation in the hopes that somebody will listen and change certain things. But going back to what I was, my thought that I was having, I see 15 years old. When I was 15, Malik, I would put money together to get a bike. Mm-hmm. My thing was getting a bike. Mm-hmm. Okay, a nice radio, FM radio, because back then we did not have 60 inches TV. So I would settle for a nice radio. Kids today, they want to get that money so they can buy a gun.
They get their gun. But you got to understand that everybody's scared. The streets are scared. It's living with post-traumatic stress disorder. If you ever heard a gunshot, if those bullets whiz past you, if you've seen somebody die, which most of us have in Yonkers before 17 years old, you're living with post-traumatic stress disorder. Then the police are thinking you're the one who's with the guns. You probably are, though. But the police are going to judge you for having a gun. You know what I'm saying? But this is the way you can protect yourself because you can't relate to the police.
But you know, sometimes I tell
I'm not saying
people,
this is a right mind state.
No, no,
I'm
no.
just speaking on what's going on.
we're
out
just talking. We're having conversation from different angles. Yes, some people might think this way, others might think that way. And whatever I'm asking you, what I'm telling you, does not mean that that's the way I think. But there is many that might think the way I'm expressing myself. So I'm giving you different angles. Okay. Look, I talk to tons of people. Yonkers Voice has lots of followers, and I talk to people. I ask their opinions about this and that. And very often I see comments that trying to justify the wrong. And I tell people, listen, instead of trying to justify the wrong, why don't we work towards the good? You cannot justify why this kid shot somebody else. Yeah, it could be what you just said, but what about putting the guns down and working towards, the way we should be living in?
Wholesome, full of love. Lives are important. You can't just take somebody's life and just live with that. I mean, people live with it all the time, but when their family's dying or they get shot, it's a totally different situation when you're laying in the hospital and you're fighting for your life and you got that shock look when the bullets hit your body. Because I couldn't believe I was shot myself the first time I got shot. I couldn't believe that I seen my good brother Elia Redoso, E-Money, died in my arms when I was 13 years old.
13.
So, 13 years old. I see my good companion good friend die in my arms. So since then, I've always been traumatic, and they have a term called stay dangerous. So until you really realize that the world is dangerous and everybody could be just as much as dangerous as you, and you find peace in your life, and you find people need something to do with themselves, because idle time is devil play. That's where these kids are finding time to want to hurt people, because they're hurt inside. Like, again, hurt people, and we need credible messengers like myself, like people from other organizations that I work with, like 914 United. That's Jonathan Alvarez.
Yes, been interviewed a few times with us.
Yeah, that's one of my good brothers. We've been on the same mission. We had the same type of philanthropy work in our heart. We came from the same place and the same stomping ground. So it's a couple of good brothers like us that are forming these community-based organizations with pure-heartedly from both sides of the gate, like Meek Mill's called it, the other side of America. And we're trying to teach philanthropy work, not just for our own self-gratification for righting our wrongs that we did in the past, because it's definitely, self-healing, you know what I mean? God will forgive us for our past, hopefully. And not even just that, it's rewiring ourselves so that way they can see us do that and follow these footsteps, hopefully.
Well, good work, good work. But look, society is cruel, Malik, okay? And I tell people, just say no to drugs. It's not going to cut it, okay? I've been watching United States government for the last 20, 30 years, even when Reagan was president, and his wife had this program, just say no to drugs. It didn't solve a damn thing. We're still fighting it. Just say no to gangs, it's not going to fix it either. What will fix it?
There's always going to be a gang. A gang is technically a group of people more than 5. You know what I mean? So if you got your cousins, that's your gang. If you got a block, that's your gang. If you grew up in a Blood or a Crip or a Lang,
Malik, we talk about gangs that hurt people, not gangs like my man behind the camera, Prince. Yeah. Prince and I are a gang because we go out filming things around. But I'm talking about those gangs that go out and hurt people. That's what we're focusing. Avoid those young kids from hurting people. Prevent those young kids from being in the big house where you are, okay? That's what we're focusing, things that really impact the society. Not the semantics of what gang means. We talk about those gangs that are
hurting people.
Well, and we're not going to mention no names.
Each member of a gang is an individual person. So these people are following an antisocial living pattern. So if you putting in pain, you got to, this is what I'm trying to say, people don't get it from the other side of the field. When you grow up with these people, we're in a gang, and they hurt you, it's my honor in my brain, from my subliminal culture that I grew up in, to defend your honor. Because when they come shoot up your neighborhood, they shot up my neighborhood. When they hurt you, they hurt me because you become my family now. So it's becoming, what's going on, it's a tribal activity is what's going on. As in tribes like chiefs and Indians, where they went to war, people are going to war with each other for no reason because they're built up in pain. So what they're doing is they're outletting their pain on each other, is what's going on. The way I believe to solve this is by productive activities, by entrepreneur classes, by teaching them skills that would get them something better than, like I said, I was looking forward to go to prison because that was college to me. That's what the people that I looked up to went to. There was an in and out revolving door. It made you tough. It made you, this is the warped sense of, you know what I'm saying? What's going on in people's brains.
That's exactly where I wanted to get at, okay? What can we do? We need more social programs.
Definitely.
We need more options. We need more alternatives. We need to understand, yes, not everyone can be a doctor, but many can be a plumber. Many can be an electrician. You know, we talk about gangs, talk about youth violence, but what are we doing as society, not as individuals, to change that? Are we going to those neighborhoods and talk to those young kids and say, listen, you have alternatives. Yes, we understand that maybe you have a rough living, you know, grown up, no family, no this, no that. We understand. But you have options.
I have options.
And these are the options. I think we're lacking on that. What do you think?
I think people played the blame game for a little while and said, I'm from here, I never had a chance, I didn't have a father, I didn't have a chance, this, that, and third. I just told you where I came from. A lot of my close comrades are in this philanthropy work. You have to make the mind state to say you're gonna make a change. You have to say yes to life. You have to want to love, you have to want to live. So until you have a spark of interest of any type of hope, if you don't do music, if you don't want to do real estate, if you don't want to own anything, if you don't want anything, then there's no hope. So the point is to instill the hope at them at a young age. And I believe with me, my program, we use art. We use art because art is timeless. Music is timeless. Music is, you know what I'm saying, it's universal. So when they feel like that's their only hope out, I think we need more multicultural crisis centers like I have, like the University of the Streets, like 914 United, like these programs that are out here. Because you have to wean it out of them. You have to make them want. I have a kid myself, and she's like, you know what I mean? We're at that rebellious stage. So we're natural rebels, and we naturally think we know it all. We naturally think we're alone because we're born alone, and we don't know if somebody has the same mind state as us. I don't know if this person has the same type of back pain I have. You know what I mean? So the point is when people, community organizations get together, when we build and actually care and listen to the community, what's wrong with them? Because a lot of people have mental illnesses. A lot of these kids that are shooting people, it's not because they're just bored and they heard some drill music and they went outside. It's because they had pain inside. I'm not making excuses. I'm giving the facts because I work with them hand in hand, like, and I've taken guns out off of my students. Like, why you want to go kill somebody? You know you're going to go do life. Like, you're going to do this over a girl? And then when you go to jail, your girl's gonna be with somebody else. So the point is just being real, like a real messenger, real life credible messenger. Let them know where you've been. I got the tattoos, I got the bullet wounds, I got all of that. It's a culture. The culture is not negative. The culture is a different type of art form. The negativity comes in when you're brainwashed over and over to think that it's normal to be a second nature to kill someone or to hurt people.
Let's talk about your tattoos.
Yes.
For a second. Look, I have nothing against tattoos. Actually, I like tattoos. Okay, to me, it's a form of art. Mm-hmm. But I also understand that excessive tattoos, like you have, could be something that can impact you when you go out there and look for a job in the corporate America or certain things, because people very often, Malik, don't judge you by what you have here.
Operating image.
But they judge you by your image. Oh, he has this, and that. He must be this, and that. Or that woman dressed this way, and that way. She must be this, and that. You know, so people judge others very often by the way they look and not by the way they are.
So these are tribal markings, actually. Like, if you were in a tribe, there's different phases that I went through in life. Maybe I was going through an episode, a manic phase, but these were my coping mechanisms to leave a stain on my body, a piece of art. So this butterfly, you know, my mother had the butterfly, you feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is representation of my mother. Whenever I feel alone, I just, you feel me? That's what that represents. This anchor is a representation to hold it down. I might have went a little extreme, you know what I mean? And then I got so used to it as a part of the culture. But these are no way in form of anything like a gang. This is Circle of Winners, Council of Wealth.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean that that is a reflection of affiliation to anything.
Yeah.
It was more that might hurt your chances within society. Shouldn't, but very often what it is and what it should are two different things. Okay.
I'm teaching more like reform than conform. You know, today I got the suit on, right? But I'm teaching reform the mind state, not conform to any type of social behavior. You understand?
Let me change my thing around. I'm 15. I see this interview and I say, I like what Malik is saying. He has a good point. I hit you up on your social media, say, Malik, I would like to speak with you. I'm going through the things that you talked about. I want to talk to you. Malik, I lost my brother through gun violence. A gun killed my brother. I want to have a tattoo on my forehead of a gun and bullets. And on my eye, I want some teardrops. To me, that's something that opposes the gun violence, and the teardrops means that I miss my brother. That's why I want those tattoos, Malik. But the other guy...
Good question right here.
But the other guy...
I've been through this.
Okay, might look at you and said, gun, bullets, teardrops, each teardrop means this. Maybe this is not the guy that I want to hire. Malik, should I have those tattoos that represent some pain in my life? Or would you say, look, I understand what you're saying, but those tattoos that represent the pain in your life might also cause pain in your life?
It could be, these tattoos could be detrimental to my growth, to acceptance in certain situations, but me being the natural revolutionist I am, that doesn't really concern me. My concern is just love. I don't judge people by those type of markings, tribal markings and things like that. So would I tell a kid to go get tattoos on his face, what you're asking me? I would not recommend a kid get tattoos. But if he had such a compassionate story behind it, I would have to say, look the other way and not give him the advice to do that. I would let him know, this could, you know what you're doing right now. You know what I mean?
But Malik, let's go back to what you said earlier. Why kids join gangs? Because something is missing. And society is cruel sometimes, and they will hold you responsible. Those tattoos might mean nothing, or might mean a lot to you, but not in a negative way. But society sometimes is not kind, okay? And sometimes they judge, and they will judge by the way you appear, by the way you look, not by the way you are. You could be the sweetest person in the world. I look at you, there is only one chance to make that first impression. I look at you and I say,
At this point,
am I going to take a chance?
I understand. At this point in my life, I'm not really living for other people. I'm living only for the people that need help. And people that need help, they don't look at tattoos. They look at when I ask them, are you hungry? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The same people with the tattoos on their face might be the one to defend you from a serial killer or a rapist or the person in your alley because I have morality in my heart.
I hear you.
That's what I'm living
I
off
hear
of,
you.
you know what I mean?
But we are talking about society. We talk about impacts of society. We are talking about second chances. We are talking about those kids that maybe made the mistakes that you made, that I made, that my father, your mother, whoever.
Now let me ask you a question real quick. So, if somebody went in there with a whole suit on, Caucasian man, black man, whatever, clean cut, right? And we with the worst kids at Yonkers. You think they're gonna go wanna relate to him, or you think they will relate to me with the tattoos on my face? Who you think they would pour their heart out and express it to? For my line of work.
Personally, I'll go with you. But I would go with you because I don't have a closed mind, okay? But if somebody comes to my company, your company, or whoever, for a job interview, and that guy with the nice suit walks in, and somebody full of tattoos walks in, they both have the same capability for the job they apply, who you think they're going to give the job to? Now, let me emphasize, they might give the job to the wrong person, to the person that shouldn't have gotten the job. Maybe the other guy, even though with his tattoos, maybe he's the purest heart. Maybe he's the person that they should hire. But society does not often operate on those terms. Look, we always talk about second chances. We all talk about alternatives. We all talk about give the kid or the adult a second chance. He made a mistake. Do we always get that second chance? But let me tell you, the guy that has a nice suit might get that second chance. The guy with the tattoos might not. Is it right? Of course not. The way you dress, because you have a tattoo, or because maybe you talk with a little higher tone voice, that is not a reflection of who Ru is, or what Malik is, or what Prince is. We should learn to get to know the person and not the outside shell of the person.
Definitely.
But society, I would say society sometimes sucks.
I haven't really had any backlash over it though. Mostly I've been more accepted by my target constituent from it, if anything. For my line of work, I don't plan on going to work for a bank next year. I plan on doing this philanthropy work.
But that's you.
Yeah.
We need to extract you from the cause. Okay. I don't look at you and I don't pass no judgments. Who am I to pass judgments? But that's me.
Human nature.
Yeah, that's me. But I see the work that you do much bigger than Malik itself. Because Malik is just Malik. You have a mission, you have a program, you have a plan. But the bigger picture, at least the way I see it, is Malik changing the lives of those thousands of Maliks, of little Maliks that might be running around the streets of Yonkers. If I look at one of those kids 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and we have a second round of interviews, and you bring 2 or 3 kids, or even if it's one, I would say it was well worth it, Malik. You changed the life. And that change will last generations and then generations, will be a forever, infinite, because those kids will always talk to their own children about what changed their lives. And they're going to say, was that interview with Malik.
Definitely. I appreciate that. That's what I'm trying to do. Like what I learned from my grandfather, one of his favorite phrases was like, you could give somebody a fish today or you could teach them how to fish. So what I've been doing in my work, because I've had a few caseloads now. I've been home 4 years. So it's all growing. I've built my credit up. I've got my first crib. I got my first everything. So I'm living off my experiences and now being able to implement that into my programming. So my point was, I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's okay. But now, Malik, back to society. We all know what needs to be changed. We all hope for less crime. We all hope for kids to change their life around. You look at that camera and tell how society can help you. And by helping you, they're helping all those kids that are behind you. Actions, not words. Okay, what can society do to help you achieve those goals that will help those kids behind you? Do you have a site where people can go in and donate?
Yeah.
A place that maybe perhaps me as a business person can call and say, Malik, I need 2 kids that to work here. I want to give a second chance to whoever. Send them over. Do you have a place where people can reach out to you?
So at 2381 Belmont Avenue off of 187th in the Bronx area off of Fordham, we have a 3-floor location. This is our headquarters where we have our Power Lab. In our Power Lab, we teach them audio engineering, technician 101. We teach them photography. We have green screens. We have cameras. We have all the things of that nature. So how can you help me, help y'all, help the community, help us as a whole? One, pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to what they're going through. Talk to them. Understand them. Let them know you love them. Just give them a hug. How can you help my organization? We have a GoFundMe page. We have a donation button on our page, the universityofthestreets.org. That's www.universityofthestreets.org. You can go to the website. You can, what else can you do? Yeah, just love your family. That's the most thing I could think you could do. Love your family, take care of your kids, Also, Yonkers definitely is in a crisis right now, I believe. All type of things going on with gang violence. So the best we could do is talk to these politicians, let them know what the community needs, you know what I mean? Let them know that we need more community active people. We need more programming. We need more centers like this. Like right now, this is empty, you know what I mean? There's no school today. There should be something going on. We need more multicultural crisis center. I don't know if they have this, if it's a thing yet, or if I'm the innovator of it, but the point is, mix the music, find out what your kid loves, and hone in on that. Foster those talents of these lost kids. Give them something to do. And save the shooter. Save the shooters, the campaign for the University of the Streets. Like I said, I appreciate you having me.
It's a pleasure having you here.
I appreciate, behind the camera, I don't know.
Priest.
Priest behind the camera.
Priest is always behind the camera.
I appreciate the viewers. Yeah, so universityofthestreets.org. More community activism. We need more like credible messengers. We need the people that want to rewire their minds to step up and don't be afraid to be different. We need more independent entrepreneur endeavors like growing in our hoods, in our neighborhoods. Like you said, this is good quality shirt right there. Can I touch it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good quality right there, too.
Get Fresh, 46 North Broadway. Don't forget, guys, actions not words. Support your local business.
Let's just be more positive. Let's just say yes to life. You know what I mean? Like, let's get involved.
Let's get involved. But let me send a message to our friend politicians that might be watching. Politicians, worry less about the picture opportunities, and get involved in more of things that will actually help the community that you were elected to serve. If there is a picture going on, a picture opportunity going on today in Gary Square, I'm sure that all of you will be there for that picture. But not many of you will show up to help guide or help create programs that will actually help the kids. But you are all in favor, you all love our kids, you all love programs, you all think that we need to create those programs. But where are they? We elected you to solve the problems. That's why you're there. That's why you were elected. So less pictures and more action. Actions, not words. Malik, is that anything that I forgot to ask you, man?
I think they need to get McCory's, right here, the old McCory's. I think they need to make a youth center in there that is more like for the arts. That's more for like mental health awareness. That's more for the people to actually have a place to go and grow. I don't know any community centers besides the YMCA. And the YMCA is cool. And the Salvation Army is here. I didn't even know this was here, truthfully. I didn't know this was here. But places like this, they have locations. There's nothing but a small funding that they could use to decrease the gang violence, decrease the high school dropouts. If they had music in school, like hip-hop music in school, or art in school, different type of curriculums that were involved with the culture, if they get to the point where they see on TikTok that the culture is like, you know, it's taken over, you know what I mean? So it's about time to use that to pull them in and grow them from their standing point. That's why we're called the University of the Streets. So we don't no longer have kids suspended. Suspension is not just suspended from school. Suspension is in the detention centers, suspended from reality. You feel what I'm saying? So.
But let me give you the other side of the coin. Kids will be kids. And parents need to do the job of a parent. PAL has lots of programs. PAL, right here on North Broadway. Yonkers Public Library has tons of programs for kids. YMCA, as you just said. YWCA, as you just said. Salvation Army, here at 110 New Main Street, where we are. Salvation Army. They have programs. They have music classes here for free.
Here?
Here.
You have a recording studio here?
Not a recording, but
That's
if you
what I
want,
mean.
but there is all types of programs, okay, to learn how to play a guitar. Maybe they don't have recording studio here, but if you want to learn how to play guitar, It's a
I
good.
don't think the kids playing guitar is the ones running around shooting people in the face.
Well,
you gotta get to the
No.
people that are misguided of what hip hop is.
No.
Hip hop has evolved into something different now.
What I'm referring to is programs. Yes, we can have a whole bunch of programs. What I'm talking about, there is things for kids to do. But my point is, the parents, they need to be involved in those
definitely.
programs. Yeah, the program is here, but if you, as a parent, doesn't look for those programs, okay, let me search for a program for my son that will fit.
But once again, the people you talk about don't really have parents because the parents. This is the cycle. These are like the third generation
Malik.
of immigrants and formerly incarcerated people.
Malik, that's why I said we need actions, not words. We need to go to those neighborhoods, okay, where those kids are.
Personal outreach.
Exactly.
The way I started the university, the way I implemented my work for the University of the Streets, I literally came home from jail. I seen a bunch of kids in the corner. I said, yo, what y'all do? Y'all rap? You sing? Y'all make music? Y'all just standing out here doing nothing, smoking weed, look like y'all about to shoot somebody. You don't worry about who you on gang time. I've been on gang time too. That don't scare me because you got a gun. You want to do something with your life? I want to do something with my life. I got a studio. He got a studio. He got a studio. They come with you to the studio. They bleep. You're not bringing no guns in here. You're not doing none of that. I don't care who you got problems with. This, that, and the third. Y'all can go to the PA. Y'all don't fight about it. I don't want nobody to fight, but I don't want y'all to kill each other. And human nature is, sometimes people back in the days used to duke it out.
So you just said it.
Yeah.
Personal reach. Okay. Let's go to those neighborhoods and say, listen, kids, what do you do with your life? You like music?
Exactly.
Did you know I have a studio?
Exactly.
I give you 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, whatever. Come and record something.
So if we have 5 of those in the target red zones, if we have in the target red zones from Lawrence to I'm gonna keep it on my side, from Lawrence to Riverdale to Cottage, if every one of those red zones had a location, the kids would go there. They would not have time to be shooting people and saving their money for their gun. They would be having time to go make something of themselves. You can't avoid hope. Like when somebody gives you hope, you can't just push it away, even if you want to. I could get you a house in 2 years. I could teach you financial literacy to get your credit from here to there. I could get you a mortgage loan. I could teach you art. They're not gonna push that away. Nobody's gonna run from it. They just don't have it because we're third generation of the cycle.
I hear you. I hear you. And I'm gonna make his word my words. Guys, put certain differences aside. Yonkers is all ours. There is no borders in Yonkers, north and south, east and west. This is our city. This is our people. Those are our kids. Bullets have no names. Okay, learn how to live with each other and learn how to make yourself successful. Then when we look at you, we can say, you make us proud. He is from Yonkers. We don't care if you are from North Yonkers, South Yonkers, East or West. You are from Yonkers. And you made yourself good and you put us on the map and people are now looking at Yonkers in a very nice way. And people are. Let me tell you, sometimes we have a lot of negative stories, but the city of Yonkers, it's full of talent, full of positive. Kramer studio on South Broadway, involved in the music industry. He helps the kids. Reach out, Kremer on Instagram. Get in touch with Malik. Find out the options. Get involved. Get involved. Malik, tell them your site, please, one more time.
www.universitystreets.org. You can also find us on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram is just University of the Streets. Tap in if you have any people you want to recommend, or if you heard our curriculums. Once again, Boys to Businessmen financial literacy courses, MDR, Make Dreams Reality, which is a multicultural crisis center where we teach the kids audio engineer, photography, anything that they want to learn. We will find a way to get them those resources or the proper referrals. If your kid is going crazy and he's breaking everything down in your house, holla at me, hit me up. I'm gonna go personally pull up on him and talk to him and see if we can help him. If we can't help him, then we'll send him somewhere else. You know what I mean? And if we can't send him nowhere else, then we'll just pray for him.
Okay, so guys, to conclude this interview, let's break it down. Just to conclude, if you are a parent and you see some trouble coming up, you speak with your kids. If you think you cannot handle it, reach out for Malik. Reach out to 914
914 United.
914 United. Talk to Alvarez. Explain. He might help you with finding some solutions. If you were a troubled kid that you were able to succeed, you were able to make good, but you have some business now and you want to give back, give those kids a second chance. If you are a person that never got in trouble with the system but want to help, if you have a business, call Malik, 914 United, tell them, look, you have a company, you can hire 2 or 3 people. So be part of the solution. Many of us talk about the problem, but very few of us step on that chair and talks about the solution. And that's what we need. We need solutions.
Definitely.
Not problems. We can talk about the bad all day long, all week long, all year long. That's not going to fix it. We need possible solution. Step up to the plate. Talk to the community. And guys, once again, I ask you, this is the type of interviews that I wish you would share, that I wish we would get tens and thousands of views, because these interviews can change lives. The negative interviews only will let you know what's going on, but we cannot change lives with those. Last
quick
words?
message, yes, quick message to the youth. Don't be afraid to reach out once again. If you have dreams, chase your dreams. Just know that there's people like you that have changed their mind state, because we want you to take this inside. We want you to be able to grow to the next level and not be tricked off the street, because we're saving the shooter. We understand that you're gangster. We understand that you got pain. We understand that. Don't let them trick you off the street. Understand that you are hurt. And the reason you want to hurt people is because you're hurt. Love yourself. Remember the marathon. Nipsey told you about the marathon. Don't run around in circles. Find a path and get there. God
Malik,
bless you.
we already spoke about this, but maybe this person just logged in and didn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask this last question. You can answer, and then we conclude the interview. Cool. This question comes from Jasmine Perez Crawford. What about kids before they turn to defiant, rebellious teens? Are there any programs for them?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
What she meant is, look, kids that are rebellious, we want to offer them solutions before they actually are arrested, go to jail. Are there any programs for those kids? Prevention instead of reaction.
Prevention instead of reaction? Yeah, that's what I do with my program. University of the Streets, once again, I'm sure 914 United, J.O., Jonathan, he would not feel no type of way.
Jonathan Alvarez.
Yeah, before your kid gets lost, as a parent, you know your kid is on that path. Like, if they start smoking weed, if they start going down that same path, they look like they're wearing a lot of gang colors, or just pay attention to their social media. You have to do that before anything, and you know your child better than anybody else. So they have all type of services that you could reach out to. Even HRA, you could, therapy is actually very helpful. So therapy is great because you understand what's going on in your child's mind, or give your child therapy yourself. But programs, I'm not sure of any programs that are like that, really. I mean, you have to find out what they want to do, first of all. That's the thing, to find out what they like, what they want to do. And then you could Google it and research whatever programs that your kid likes. If they like basketball, they can come here. If they like music, they can come see me. So before they go down that path, be aware, pay attention, don't be naive. Don't think your kid is too good to do these things, because it's not true. Yeah. They don't have the cognitive thinking processing yet to understand what's really right from wrong. They're just living in the moment. And if you're not on them and talking to them like they're adults or going to be adults, they're young adults, and then you're playing baby and foolish, then you're giving your kid idle time to grow the detrimental living pattern to where it can't go back.
So, Jasmine, if you are or know of somebody that's going through those troubles, reach to Malik, reach to Jonathan Alvarez, 914 United. They have lots of programs that might address the issues that you spoke about. But one important thing for the parents is, don't bury your head on the sand. Be aware, because very often the signs are there if you want to see them, But if you keep playing, my kid is innocent, he would never do that, let me tell you, you're so wrong. None of us know our kids 100%. Look for the signs. The signs are there. Take action before it's too late. Because very often when you get to a point, I'm not saying you can never reverse it. I'm not saying you will never get the second chance, but I can tell you for sure, things will be much more difficult.
Definitely.
When you make that mistake.
You could also be positive for yourself and just chase your own entrepreneurial endeavors. And if your kids see you do that, like when my daughter sees me put on a suit, when she sees me help people out, that's giving her a guidance. It's giving them a mission. Like
no
makes
doubt,
them want to. You know
no
what I mean?
doubt, Malik.
Make your children proud of you.
No doubt. You know, if you are involved in positive work, if you feed the homeless, if you do this, if you go to church and you bring your kids with you, chances are when they grow up, they're going to follow what they saw. So you lead by example, not by words. And that's the basis for this interview.
Definitely.
Actions, not words.
Actions, not
Offer
words.
solutions, not just the past. Yeah, learn from the past, but be real about solution for the present.
Definitely.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Malik, thank you
You
very
already know.
much for
Appreciate you
taking the
having me.
time. Anytime you need something from us that you feel we can help,
Definitely.
reach out. Okay, reach out to us on time, because sometimes if you call in the morning and say, I want an interview in the afternoon, sometimes.
That's cool. I'll let you know when we do some community events. Keep looking out for University of the Streets, 914 United, Incarcerated America, SNUG, and all the other community-based organizations that's here for the people. We appreciate you. I appreciate your work. And thank you for having me once more.
You're more than
God
welcome.
bless.
Thank you, guys. Don't forget to share. This is the stuff that we would love you to share. Spread the news, the positive news, the news that can change, the news that has an impact in life. That's the goal. Thank you. Until later.